future because times were so difficult. That's why it was great to have some of my family get to see the success I had, and as I said at the State of the State, some people have said, they've observed, they say, you know, John, you're lucky the Lord's had his hand on you. Well, it doesn't make me feel anything other than the need to be a good servant. And so, Reverend, we're all flawed, right? We get up every day and just try to do a little bit better. That's where I come from. That's who I am. And I got into this job, and we were in extremely difficult circumstances. We were $8 billion in the hole. Ohio wasn't even an afterthought. There was no thought in anybody's mind. We had lost 350,000 private sector jobs. I went to New York to meet with the credit bureaus, and they were ready to downgrade our credit. You know, it's like taking away, cutting up the credit card. And things were pretty bleak, but I didn't get too concerned about that because I had worked in this area before. When I was in Washington, I spent 10 years of my life to get us to a balanced budget, which we did. And so I felt we could do this. And we're going to honor the values of a typical Ohio family, a typical American family. You don't spend more than what you take in. And if you come up short, you try to figure out, okay, these are the things we need, these are the things we'd like to have, and these are the things we got to get rid of. And we got to live within our means. And so that's kind of the way I looked at it. And I also will tell you that I have a great team. Anybody can conduct an orchestra. I conduct an orchestra. If you don't have good players in the orchestra, the music's terrible. I just happen to be privileged to run the orchestra, but it's the people that are in the orchestra who are doing such a fantastic job. Ron will tell you, we played no favorites, none. I don't care who you knew, I don't care what you did, we're not playing favorites, because as we go about establishing priorities, the minute that we play politics, the minute that we play favorites is the minute we're doomed. And I learned this down in Washington. I learned it in Columbus at an early age. People can accept what you're going to do as long as they don't think there's favoritism. That doesn't make any sense to anybody. So that's what we went about. And we also knew that we had a state that people didn't find attractive. It's sort of like owning a restaurant and you have no customers. Jim, if you have a restaurant and you have no customers, you know, you don't tell your partner, well, I think the answer is, well, let's just raise our prices. That'll get them in here. That's like the state of Ohio raising prices. See, politics is pretty simple. If you keep it simple and you focus on solving problems and lifting people and you don't worry about the other stuff that's always out there. So not only did we go about balancing the budget, but we cut taxes and we killed the death tax. And I'm thrilled every time I see small business people, because frankly, I want to see small business people pass their business on to the next generation, because the next generation is likely to do a better job of strengthening it than the person who's currently there. So we killed the death tax in Ohio to help small business, and it's made a big difference. Idea. Ron, by the way, was the chairman of the Finance Committee, so all this had to work through all this. Then I said, we got to cut the income tax. Now, tomorrow morning I'm going to go to Naples with my wife asked me to go on a date with her, and we're going to fly down to Naples for the weekend. You know my problem with going down there tomorrow? I'm trying to get away, and all I'm going to do is see Ohioans, because they all live down there to escape taxation. And I want them to move back here. I don't want them to move down there. I want them back here in Wooster, right? We want their charity, we want their ideas and their innovation. So we're cutting our income tax. And I currently will unveil a proposal come Tuesday that will move our income tax under 4%. And we have to do this because since 1995, $12 billion has walked out of the states with lower income taxes. That's not a smart thing to do. We need to have a tax system that encourages the most rapid economic growth. That's what we need to do. So, cutting these taxes, balancing our budget, $8 billion in the hole. Today, we have $1.5 billion surplus. We have a balanced budget.